Without community, there's no need for a San Diego Music Hall of Fame, but because our community is so great, it is on us to celebrate it and make sure people remember, make sure folks have given so much of themselves, whether they've been inducted yet, or maybe they'll be next year, or maybe they'll be when they are. It's going to take a while to catch up with all the great music we've had. We only started this just 8 years ago, but nobody better exemplifies our music community in all the different facets of it, from performing music, from writing about music, to bringing people together, helping support events, and just being a true uniter. So it's a great honor to induct Bart Mendoza, who, if you have done any music in this town, he's probably helped you in some way or another, whether you realize it or not. Maybe he wrote about you. He works on the music awards every year. He does all kinds of great things, so I'm happy to get to celebrate him. And now to make the presentation for Bart Mendoza, please welcome Brian Witkin.
Good evening, everyone. I got to stop for a minute and say how incredible it is to see so many familiar faces in the audience tonight. This is so cool. Jefferson, thank you for putting this on, man. This is great, and thanks to all the sponsors. As you alluded to, I mean, there is not one person in this room who Bart hasn't probably helped in one way or another. And, so far tonight, we've inducted some absolutely incredibly talented musicians. And I don't want to discount the fact that Bart is an incredibly talented musician. And I'd say, first and foremost, that's what Bart is. It's music what drives him. And his lifelong career and dedication to music is sort of what all of these other great things that have helped so many people have stemmed from. So when I was first asked to, introduce Bart, I have to say I was surprised and honored, of course, but also a little bit intimidated, because these are really big shoes to fill. And, not only that, but I want to do this guy justice, because there's just so much. And, I thought I'd start by just talking about some of the things that Bart does, because as you mentioned, Jefferson, it's multifaceted. It's more like what this guy doesn't do for the music community. And, I thought I'd just start off by trying to hit as many as I could and talk in the context of me, because I know Bart has done so many different things for so many different people, and my experience with Bart is probably parallel to like what a lot of other people have experienced from him, whether it's just writing about them, to believing in them, to mentoring them. So to start off, I met Bart, I couldn't quite date when, but I'm a musician too, and I was just a teenager in high school trying to figure it out, crack the code, how to get people to listen to my music. And, someone said, hey, you got to talk to this guy, Bart Mendoza. He'll write about you. And again, this is probably over 20 years ago, a long time ago. But point being, this guy, it doesn't matter if you're a Billboard top 10 artist or a kid in high school just starting out. He's going to write about you if you've got something to promote, to release. And that community support is so important. So that's when I first was experienced or exposed to Bart and what he does. So much has happened since then. I've done everything from engineered sessions with Bart, where he's recording and I'm the guy pushing the buttons. I've been lucky enough to share the stage with Bart. He's written about artists that I work with many, many times. It's just, again, every facet of the music business, he's supported me or my colleagues in some way, shape, or form. So back to Bart. I know you've done so much for so many. He got his start in music in the 80s, and he's been in a list of successful bands. True Stories, a lot of other in the mod scene, The Shambles, Manual Scan, and again, this is all just in the 80s and 90s. He's also a fellow founder of record labels, Blind Spot Records, still going today. He worked for Capitol Records for a time. I mean, again, the business side is so extensive. He's also promoted shows, of which I've partaken in, helped promote, and also I'm sure he's booked a lot of people in here for you. His label, Blind Spot, has released notable releases, including Skelpin and Four Eyes. And did I mention he's also a songwriter? So in all those bands I just mentioned, he's written songs for them. And more recently, even, there's been some notable artists that cover his songs. Again, just the impact that he's made both locally but also on a national and international level is incredible. Going again from the historical perspective that Jefferson just touched on, Bart really cares. And he is, I would say, the de facto San Diego music historian. And he has documented so much of our history as just a community in San Diego. And, all you got to do is do a Google search on all the articles he's written, and you kind of see that too. But what you don't know behind the scenes is he's also a collector and collects all of these things. And again, I'm sharing this with you because to understand Bart, you got to understand how much he cares. And it's not just the surface level. It's every single part and everything he does, whether it's music or the music business side or the journalist side. He really cares, and it's his attention to detail and not leaving any stones unturned that make what he does so special. So, again, going back to when he asked me to do this, I did a little research and some of the things I touched on, and I learned things that I didn't know about Bart like every day. And in preparing for this speech, I learned new things, and hopefully some of these things, even though I'm sure you've been exposed and he's helped, all of you in a different way, you learn something else about what Bart does and how important he is. And frankly, just how lucky we are to have Bart in the San Diego music community, because I can tell you, having experience going to LA and other places all over, what we have is special, and sometimes you don't realize that. And I just want to take the time to point out how important Bart is, for our San Diego community and what we're doing. And lastly, you're amazing, Bart. Thank you for everything and for believing in me and us and the scene. And lastly, I want to leave you with a note, because I could stand here and talk all day about Bart and his accomplishments. And I know you're not one for these things, so I'm making it short and sweet. But I do want to share one little tidbit that actually happened in the green room like an hour or two ago. I was just talking about how excited I am that he's got this honor and how you really deserve it. And Bart says to me, "I'm just getting started." And that's what I'm talking about, Bart. I'm so proud to be your friend and be the one, you've mentored me. You're a friend, a colleague, and again, a fellow musician. And it is my honor and privilege to welcome and induct Bart Mendoza.
Thank you, Brian. We're going to bring Bart up here now and some of his bandmates' true stories. They're going to rock out a couple tunes for you. And after that, we're going to take an intermission where you can bid on items and eat tacos, drink beverages. And then we're going to come back. We got a lot more to come. Congrats, Bart.
Thank you so much. I am seriously honored. And boy, what a lineup of inductees this year. It's stunning. Let's have a hand for everybody. This is incredible. Such a strong connection. I'm not going to give a speech per se. I'm just going to thank a few people here. I do have to mention, though, that I was just mentioning this backstage. I just remember being a 10-year-old and seeing A Hard Day's Night on TV. And by the end of the movie, that's all I wanted to do, is be a musician, right? You see that scene with the screaming girls and being chased around London. And yeah, you want to be a musician. But, all of a sudden, blink and I'm here. It just happened in a blink of an eye. So yeah, follow your dreams and have a good time. Now, the first thing I have to say is thanks, Mom, and thanks, Dad, because without them, where would I be, right? So I was very lucky to be a child in the 60s and the 70s and a young man in the 80s and the 90s, and here we are, right? But what a time to be alive. I like to think I was born at the right time. I want to thank a couple of mentors that were very important to me. Mr. McCann at La Jolla High School, who really believed in me and gave me a shot to write. I want to thank Thomas K. Arnold, who gave me my first actual shot at journalism back in 1979. I was a dumb kid, and all I did was look up his address, and I went to his house on a Saturday morning, knocked on the door, and asked him if there was anything I could do. He took care of me on the spot, hired me. I was moving boxes within a half an hour. So thank you, Thomas K. Arnold. And I especially want to thank Paul Williams, Cindy Lee Berryhill's husband, for mentoring me and helping me with my journalism so much over the years. He was a big inspiration to me, and the techniques he showed me, I still use to this day. And finally, I want to actually, just one second here, I forgot something. This is important.
Moving pretty quickly there, that part.
The stage is tilted down. So Let's see here. I want to take a moment here to thank my collaborators because nobody does anything in a vacuum. And I've been very fortunate to work with certain people over the years that I've worked over and over and over with, and it's always been a successful collaboration. So I really want to thank Sandra Castillo, photographer and writer, Kevin Ring, and David Fleminger in particular for all that they've done for me over the years. It's been special. So, and while I'm at it, got to mention the Beatles, Emmett Road, the Zombies, and Paul Weller, because without them. But I also want to point out, it was just a little joke about me with the cane at the moment, but it has been a very, very rough year for me health-wise, and I don't know if anybody noticed, I took about 1.5 years off from playing live dates, but I really want to say that my biggest thanks go out to Donna Daly, who has been a really a rock and solid for me and helping me out with everything. Donna, would you come up here for a second? So, you know, we can't do anything alone, and she's been a rock for me and very, very helpful. Thank you so much. But beyond that, I want to thank Jefferson for everything. The awards ceremony is wonderful. I can't wait to see who's going to get it next year. Have some ideas. So thank you, everybody. This is a great honor.
I can't wait to hear your ideas. Please welcome Bart Mendoza and True Stories are going to play a couple tunes. Give it up for them, folks. Make some noise.
Okay. Check. Okay. Whoa, there we go. There we go. Are we good, John? Okay. Oh, keys. Check. Okay. Oh, little snafu. Yes. Yeah, it's better than the keyboard going out halfway through the song. There we go.
Hey.
Ready, guys? Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's true. Maybe someday I'll find the answers to those times. It's true. It's true. It's true. She's magic. She's magic. Something about clouds, smiles and words too loud. It's true. Dancing in the streets, sunny days bare feet. It's true. It's true. It's true. She's magic. She's magic. She's magic. She's magic. There'll never be another you. You make my dreams come true. If a dream should ever end, pretend. Don't live in the street. Sunny days, Biffy, it's true. Something about clouds, smiles and words too loud. It's true. It's true. True. She's magic. She's magic. She's magic. She's magic.
That's She's Magic, and I wrote that because I wanted something universal, positive about women, my granddaughter in particular. All right, now something a little more traditional. This is a song I recently recorded, or we recently recorded with Johnny Vernazza, who also should be inducted soon.
There's 3 more hours left. Should be home by now. I should be discontent. You kept me here somehow. And so you're telling me you're gone for good this time. No matter how I try, can't seem to make you mine. Always looking for an alibi ahead of what might come. You're dressed down for the evening after all is said and done. And so you're telling me you're gone for good this time. No matter how I try, can't seem to make it mine. Looking for an alibi ahead of what might come. You're dressed down for the evening after all is said and done. And so you're telling me you're gone for good this time. No matter how I try, can't seem to make you mine.
Alicia Previn, David Fleminger, Billy Tisch, Greg Smith, Martin Martiniana, Bart Mendoza. Thank you so much, Jefferson.
Please join us in welcoming to the San Diego Music Hall of Fame, Bart Mendoza.